Story of the Black Panther Party. And of course, Dr. Farley, during this last 6.5 minutes that we have today, let's give you an opportunity to sort of wrap up the story of the Black Panther Party and to sort of inform our audience about some of the things that you believe to be important that they know about this party, even though this party has been set in time. Nevertheless, it played a very, very significant role in the American social, political experience. And let's give you an opportunity to talk about some of the other aspects of that.
Well, the Black Panther Party and their story are really amazing because you take this group of kids who are supposed to be completely left out of the American system, the so-called lumpen proletariat, the brothers in the black, and yet you have people who are reading Plato and Kant and Sartre and Frantz Fanon, talking about existentialist philosophers, trying to come up with concrete solutions to the problems that black people, brown people, yellow people, red people, and white people faced in this country. And who were these people? You had 24-year-old Huey Newton, co-founder of the party, Bobby Steele, also in his 20s. The first member after that, Bobby Hutton, 17 years old. Jonathan Jackson, 17. You had George Jackson, who was 29, Fred Hampton, 21, all these young people who are formulating these solutions to America's problems, not in the way that the media typically portrays them as these people with guns, violent, perhaps thugs. They could have been university professors. In fact, Huey Newton got his PhD after the party was over and taught a course at Yale even in 1970, 1971. But you had these people who were implementing social programs, free breakfast for children programs. You had them starting health clinics, which people could use for free, giving away free groceries, free shoes. And what they were doing wasn't anything radical, but they were doing just what the people needed and what the government later saw the people needed and wanted because it took over many of their programs. But why didn't the Panther Party last? We have to actually talk about this because it's a very serious issue. Why do people have a negative view of the Black Panther Party? It's because of the negative propaganda put out by FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover. And this was all uncovered in the Church Committee of the Senate in the mid-70s. The illegal activities of an FBI program known as COINTELPRO, for Counterintelligence Program. And this was a series of dirty tricks which were discovered, but often too late. For example, what they would do is, in the case of Chicago, Fred Hampton, who started the Rainbow Coalition and tried forming coalitions with all sorts of different groups, including gang groups, to get them to stop being gangs and help the community.
Become a part of it, okay.
Yes. What they did was they raided the FBI, or the Black Panther Party headquarters, at 4 in the morning, and ballistics experts went into the building. They saw that all the shots were going in. There's maybe one shot going out, and there's evidence that Fred Hampton may have been drugged. Then we later discovered that an FBI informant had drawn a plan of the Black Panther Party headquarters before it all happened. And so you had, and 10 years later, the Hampton family won successfully a suit against the city of Chicago. And I'm not sure what the size of the award was, but basically they were admitting culpability that this was an illegal action. As a police officer said in 1969, who could be against feeding kids? The Black Panther Party wasn't any kind of criminal organization. It wasn't a violent organization. It was a serve the people organization designed to actually articulate and actually provide for the needs of the people.
In other words, it was a real extension of what might be called the civil rights movement.
It was definitely an extension of that, although the Panthers themselves saw themselves as different. They talked about these programs as being survival programs, and they weren't interested in them in and of themselves the way reformists might be.
You know, Dr. Farley, what would you say to young people today who might be interested in some of the things that we've talked about, but more specifically, since the party is there and there is a tremendous need to educate folks and whatnot, what would you say to young people today about what is important in terms of helping to recognize some of the things that Newton and others who were members of the Black Panther Party recognized? I mean, what is there a social responsibility for young people today?
Oh, definitely. I would say read. I would say read everything you can. Read Jean-Paul Sartre, read Frantz Fanon, read what the Panthers had to say, and also apply what they had to say, and keep in mind that we're living in a different era to the problems that we face today. But one reason why I like the Black Panthers so much is not just because of the immense good work that they did, which is not recognized. In fact, often the truth is distorted as a result of COINTELPRO, but also that the solutions they provided actually could pertain to today. We have gang problems today, but when the Black Panther Party was in its heyday, there are no gangs in Los Angeles. The Crips and the Bloods came afterwards. The Black Panther Party leader, Bunchy Carter, who was assassinated by people who we later learned were working for the FBI on January 17, 1969, when he was the Black Panther Party leader, there were no gangs. The gangs were all united behind the Black Panther Party. So I would like people to actually realize that we need to have this extreme commitment to the people, like Huey Newton and Bobby Seale. They made mistakes, certainly, and we mustn't forget that, but this extreme desire to serve the people first, and we also need to excel academically.
And so that would be your instructions and advice to young people today, to have some kind of commitment to the people, something that is greater than themselves, something greater than the me generation, and et cetera. And if they could have that kind of commitment, you believe, and to couple that with what you consider to be hard work, and I think more than anything, you represent, in a real sense, Dr. Farley, what you preach, the kind of hard work and your achievements, and et cetera. And over the last half minute that we have here, let me thank you for coming by and giving us some information about the story of the Black Panther Party. And we'd like to have you back again to talk about some of the exploits in mathematics and the sciences, because we do have so many young people who need that kind of information as well. But let me thank you for coming by, and let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you.